You know Rogan, crime junkie, and of course office ladies. Messing with Mormons, cold and Utah famous. But do you recall the greatest podcast of all? This is a place podcast made in this great state
of Utah.
And if you've ever listened, you would know it's hosted by Nate
and Brandon.
They talk about all places and what makes Utah great,
like fry sauce,
places like raging waters, lagoon, or even secret lakes.
Shh.
If you're bored this Christmas Eve, we got one thing to say.
Just one thing.
Listen to this episode, and all your boredom goes away.
It's gone!
And to our fans who listen,
all 10 of them,
go ahead and shout with me.
Yippee!
This is a Place podcast. We'll go down in history
like Rudolph. Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm here with a man who is pleading ladies to stop asking Santa Claus for the perfect man this year. Nate.
And the reason why is I almost got kidnapped 3 times this week. And 2, I'm already married. I'm sorry. So
perfect man's already been taken, ladies. Back off.
Till polygamy comes back. I'm a married man. So how was your week, Brandon?
It was a good week. Much happier today than I was the previous weekend. But
the sting's still there, right?
Yeah,
it still stings.
Still stings. But it was a good week. We did some Christmas stuff. Upon a recommendation from one of our friends of the podcast, he recommended we go down to Spanish Fork, and we checked out the Festival of Lights.
Oh, you went and did that?
Mm-hmm. But it was pretty cool. It was a long wait. We definitely went later than we should have, so the line wrapped all around the city, I guess. Well, not the whole city, but it's in a park, and so it wrapped all the way back, and you just had to
Is it that you pay for, or it's free?
Yeah, you have to pay for it.
How much is it?
$8.
Car? That's not bad.
Yeah. Better compared to, like, some of the others in the area that are, like, $30 to go drive through. Much better deal.
Huh. We were driving by the Maverick Center on the freeway, and they had a screen out in front. I'm like, are they doing one of those stand-up comedian or, when I'm like, at the same time, concert things they've been doing in the parking lots? You've seen that?
Mm-mm.
They've been doing it at drive-in theaters, and I think a couple at the Maverick Arena. But I'm like, it's kind of cold for somebody to be standing up doing a show. But It turns out they're doing, when I looked at it later on the Google, that it's a laser show that they're doing in the Maverick parking lot. And it's like $15 a car or $20 a car. So,
not bad.
Anyways, might be something to check out or see if it's any good.
Yeah, there's no shortness of different things you can try this year for Christmas spirit.
That's very true.
Did you do anything Christmassy this last week?
Quite a bit, actually. Went and saw a movie with some friends.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you were there.
You're spoiling the episode.
But we'll talk about that later. Then the other night, we drove the kids to kind of the neighborhoods that had Christmas lights. There's one way out in Magna that's really cool. There's Whoville in, would that be like Kearns area, I think?
I think so.
And a couple others. And then Friday had a little kind of Christmas work thing. And then one of our agents from our Fort Worth, Dallas office flew out here this weekend, and she asked my wife and I to show them the town yesterday. So
who better to do it than you?
Yeah. I was like, I've got a little experience with this podcast thing going on. Know some places that most people don't usually think of. So one place that we will eventually talk about is Allen Park, otherwise known as Hobbitville, right? So that was my first time actually going into the park. But we'll talk about that in a probably future episode. Took them over to the Gilgal Gardens. Let them see the Joseph Smith Sphinx, which kind of spooked them a little bit. Took them to This Is the Place, Heritage Park. We just drove around the parking lot and I showed them where Brigham Young said, "This is good enough."
Yeah.
And I think we ended the night up at the Roost Diner. Is that what it's called? In Patricia Canyon? I've never been there either. So yesterday I did 2 Utah things, going to Hobbitville and Roost Diner, 2 things I've never done before. So, and possibly 2 future episodes of our podcast, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And it was cool. The Roost Diner, we were in these like little tents in the back of the restaurant.
Little yurt thingies.
So that was my first experience doing that. So my question is, do they do that every winter, or is it just because of the COVID thing?
Probably COVID.
Okay. So I'm like, do they do patio dining in the winter normally?
Oh, yeah, probably not. Oh, that's a good point. Maybe they do. Because it is at a big place?
Have you been to the diner? Mm-mm. Oh. Yeah, that's my first time as well. My wife had been there before, so it was my first time there. So I don't know. It's not very big, but
I think it'll be nice when we're back to normal. Maybe some things like that can stick around because it gives them more capacity when they can just have full capacity.
And it was it was
different.
Yeah, it was different. It was an experience, so made for a good time. So yeah, it was a fun week and weekend.
Well, tell me more about the movie you went and saw.
Well, this movie was really a play.
Wait, what? Oh, so you watched Hamilton?
Did you already forget? So yeah, we went and saw The Forgotten Carols in theaters.
Okay. So Forgotten Carols has been around for quite a few years. It has been a Utah tradition for, I guess, 29 years, if you want to get real specific. Normally, they do it as a play, right? Mm-hmm. And even this year, so the founder, Michael McLean, who's contributed a lot to the community with his music, he created this and always tours and goes to different places to show this play, this musical that he created. And his plans were to have it be even bigger this year. But, he saw Hamilton on Disney Plus, and he's like, hey, there's an idea. We can still do our Forgotten Carols, and we can just film it and make it a movie.
Yeah. So you're in the movie theater, but yet you feel like you're at a play.
And we still clapped like we were at a play.
Yeah, that was... Did they do that in Hamilton? I don't remember in Newsies. Maybe they do.
In Hamilton, I think they still have an audience.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird having an audience. So basically, what do they call that in the movies where they laugh?
A laugh track?
A laugh track or where they clap. So, but I was kind of disappointed because I think you and I were the only ones clapping at the end of the songs like we were supposed to, right?
We were so loud, I don't know. Maybe other people were. Sometimes I was thinking, oh, this is the people here in the theater. Granted, there wasn't a lot of people because they're still spacing people out.
Right, but it was still. I mean, speaking of that, it was almost sold out for COVID standards. So it was full for what they could do.
Well, we'll tell you what Forgotten Carols is for those of you who have not seen it or heard of it.
It's not Forgotten Carlos.
It's not Forgotten Carlos. Actually, I really want to see Forgotten Carlos. That sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, when I texted Brandon the other day, my iPhone sent him Carlos instead of Carols. Thought I was spelling Carlos. So
you had your phone set to Spanish.
Yes. I got to be better at proofing my text messages before I send them, because stuff like that happens quite a bit, where my iPhone thinks I'm wanting to say one thing and it goes to another.
Maybe next year we can make our own rendition of the Forgotten Carlos.
Carlos.
We can film our own version of it. Just in time for Christmas season.
Poor Carlos. Everyone forgets about Carlos.
Well, the Forgotten Carols tells the story of Connie Lou, a nurse whose empty life has changed when Uncle John, a new patient she is attending, recounts the story of Christ's birth as told by little-known characters in the Nativity story. So that's what it is. to be fair, it's quite different than when it first started or when we originally saw the play. They made a lot of changes in 2019 that was new, at least new to me.
So last year he made changes, and he's added. I don't know. Was it just for? It was for the movie though. He added 2 new songs.
I believe
at least,
2 new. Yep.
To the play, but I've seen the play, and the place when I think of Forgotten Carols, I think of Cottonwood High School's Auditorium.
Yes. Same.
Because that's where I saw it a bunch of years in a row. And it came to the point where I'm like, I got to give at least a few years in between because it loses its magic, right, if you see it every year, in my opinion. But I was having a hard time remembering because it's been a good 10 years since I've seen it. So it's hard to know which things were new and what was different.
Or just was forgotten instead.
What I've forgotten. So I've forgotten a lot of it. But I did notice, I think I did a Google search, and I think there's a DVD out there of a play that he recorded, a live play. So it would be fun to watch the live play that he did, and then turn around and watch
the movie
and see what differences there are from.
Bet the quality's much better in the movie version.
Oh yeah, it's way better. So it was good. Like I said, I liked the fact that it felt like you're at a play, and it's probably the closest I've ever been to the stage ever.
Yeah, you can actually see the people.
He was like right there in my face.
Yeah,
he was like right there, and the sound quality was amazing. The only downside was Cinemark thought it was a good idea to turn the temperature up to like 95 degrees. When we first walked in, Brandon and his wife were getting popcorn, and my wife and I walked in, and we're kind of cold because it was cold outside, but immediately we're like, we're in trouble if they keep this temperature the same, because it was burning hot like a sauna in there. So Brandon was kind enough, I texted him, said, hey, if you see a worker, tell them to turn off the heat in here. And they did for about 10 minutes. So the only thing I can think of is either something was broken or maybe there was somebody in the audience who was complaining it was cold and they kept turning up the heat. But it was uncomfortably hot in that theater. So thank you, Cinemark, the hottest seat in town.
Going back to Cottonwood, so I went to Cottonwood for full disclosure, so I'm a little biased. But we always talked about how Cottonwood's auditorium was the largest auditorium this side of the Mississippi, at least in a high school.
For a high school setting, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that claim is true, but it does fit just over 3,000 people. So a pretty good place to do a play for every December. Good place to have other citywide events and performances, summer school for children, all sorts of things happen in this auditorium. Like even my graduation was in the auditorium, because normally you'd go somewhere like
it's either on the
Huntsman
football
Center,
field or it's at an arena or the football field, right?
Yeah, because you need a bigger place to fit all those people. But at Cottonwood, no. We've got an auditorium for that. So
rain or shine doesn't make a difference because you're in the auditorium, right?
Yeah, much more limited on how many people you can invite, though, because you still have a whole senior class that wants to invite everybody. So they did have to give you tickets.
Okay.
But it's a great auditorium. Really,
it's big. It's
really
nice.
Big.
I wonder, is it still the biggest one in Utah?
Oh, I don't know if it still is.
With all these new high schools they've been building, I wonder if it's still.
I don't go into a lot of high school auditoriums.
Because I know Granger built a pretty nice auditorium when they rebuilt their school. It's pretty nice. I don't know if it's as big as Cottonwood, but it's still pretty big and nice.
We'll have to look into it when we start doing some high school episodes, high school standalone episodes.
When we do our high school musical.
Yeah, for Eastside.
Episode.
We'll get to it. But, I mean, there's other places that they do, in the past, have done this play, but it's always a fun one. Like you said, it has that Christmas magic, and we still got a piece of that from when we went and saw the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I've loved the Forgotten Carols since early 90s when it came out. I think even for Christmas one year, I asked for the Forgotten Carols book and the CD and all that stuff. I like the songs, but it's been a while, like I said, since I've seen the play. And I've wondered too, like you went to Cottonwood High School. Were you ever involved in the production of the play?
I was not myself.
Did you guys get like discounts to go to this show or anything along those lines?
Maybe if I was in it, I would have. But I actually did join concert choir. That was who participated in it, because normally they have like the main actors, and then they incorporate a choir that sings like the background parts of the songs. And my wife actually was in the concert choir and did it a couple of times, I think for a couple of years. But I joined concert choir in January, so I like barely missed it.
Oh,
because I only did like the half a year.
The first semester kids had to.
Oh yeah, you just had to be a part of it, so that because they like would practice the songs in class.
Yeah, my wife also went to Cottonwood High School and was involved in the program as well. So she wasn't super excited to go see the movie because I think she's seen it enough for a lifetime being in the concert choir. Your wife was probably the same way as well.
Right.
But they seem to still enjoy the show, right?
For the most part.
For the most part. So
I think they more enjoyed watching us because we had a good time.
We had we may or may not have laughed a few times during the movie, but it had nothing to do with the movie. It was just
contextual.
Yes. And it turns out that my neighbor and her family and his family were sitting on the same aisle as us in the back. We did not know it was them till after the movie. They're like, we were wondering who those people were in the back laughing every once in a while.
There's people interrupting our performance.
So, yes, but it was fun. And it was probably a lot cheaper than going to the play, right?
Yeah, definitely a lot cheaper to go see the movie because we went on Tuesday, so it was only like $5 per ticket.
Definitely cheaper.
Well, we took a quick break and decided to talk to my wife because I want to make sure we're given the nitty-gritty details of being in the choir.
The behind the scenes?
Yep. And apparently being in the Forgotten Carols was part of her grade. If she didn't show up to the 2 or 3 performances they had on Friday, Saturday, Thursday night, whenever it was, the highest grade they could have got was a B. So I guess it goes with the name concert choir. You need to be in a concert, right? And that's kind of what you're doing, being in the Forgotten Carols in that capacity. So it makes sense, but he got a pretty good deal, right?
Free labor, right?
Yeah.
So you have about 50 to 60 kids in the choir, and you don't have to pay them. You're paying them with experience.
Yep.
So,
but
smart.
We speculate it's probably like they're getting a cut of the ticket sales. So that's going towards the arts department so that they can have funds for other things. So, yeah, the kids aren't getting paid. It's just part of their grade, and that's the experience and why you took the class in the first place. But then they have money to go around to do their tours or whatever else they're going to do that year because they were involved in the Forgotten Carols.
So I'm sure she doesn't listen to the CD nonstop during Christmas season, does she?
She just sings it. She knows it all.
Oh, okay.
We don't need the CD. I have it at my house in my wife.
You get a live performance whenever you want.
And even though your wife was in it, she has you, so she doesn't need to listen to it. You're just going to run around singing it all.
I sing it, yeah, regardless.
Yeah.
I'm always singing it, so.
Why don't we just talk about the movie a little bit? Or the play, whatever you want to call it.
The Forgotten Carols?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
Let's just talk about the Forgotten Carols. Why not? It's a solid performance. So this is not a spoiler-free episode. So if you're waiting to watch Forgotten Carols on Living Scriptures, or you're going to go see it in films and you haven't, then turn it off, the episode right now, until after you've seen it.
Wasn't that the joke I told you? Because you got to the line for the popcorn was pretty long. And so you missed like the first 3-4 minutes of the play.
I missed a new song.
So I told you you're going to be completely lost on what's going on, right? Because you've never seen the Forgotten Carols.
Yeah.
But
so you better fill us on that fill us out on that first part since I missed the whole thing.
Just so some guys singing around the barrel of fire, so didn't really miss anything. So
Oh, okay.
it was
A new song.
It was a new song. It was a new song, so it seemed pretty cool.
So this is the part of the story that completely changed. And it starts out with him meeting some rich guy.
Is he on the board for the hospital? Is that what he was?
Yes. Which I love that.
Was that not in the original play? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think So in the original play, this was, I guess, pre-2019, John, who in the original, you never knew who he was. There's a speculation that he's John the Beloved, but I don't think he ever came out and said he was John the Beloved. But in this version, he did say he was John the Beloved, so that gets rid of that question.
Okay.
He's, well, for those who don't know, John the Beloved, the story that it goes with the Bible is he decided to stick around until, Jesus comes back, right? And so he's just been living all these 2,000 plus years, and that's who Michael McLean is playing in the Forgotten Carols. He's this character. He's going to help teach somebody the meaning of Christmas.
So until last year, you just had to assume it was him.
Right.
But now he's basically come out and said, yeah, I am.
Exactly.
Him.
In a way, he makes some jokes about it.
Okay.
So she asks, okay, so first off, originally, he's just like in this house, and he orders like a nurse to come and help take care of him.
That's
or somebody
what
orders
That's
it.
what I remember.
Right.
Like it was like a in-house care type person that
Yeah,
came,
some
right?
home health type thing, right?
Yeah.
But in this version, it's this rich guy, this Rutherford or whatever his name was, and he sees this act that John does, that he is playing guitar, and some guy comes and steals the money. He grabs the guy. He's like, no, it's okay. Like, you forgot to take the guitar with you, too. So this crook gets away with his guitar and the money that he'd made from singing. And this guy's like, oh, my gosh, this guy's so kind. He's limping. I'm going to go take him to the hospital that I'm on the board for, and they're just going to get him right away. COVID be damned.
So he goes to the hospital, and then
He meets Connie.
And the hospital kind of forces Connie on him, right? That they need to go check up on him.
Right.
So it's not like John asked for in-house help.
The rich guy telling...
The rich guy,
Hey.
and her boss, right? The doctor
Yeah.
was telling her that they need to go check on John.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because he's worried about him. So he wants to take care of him because he's such a nice guy.
right.
And Connie is just not having it, right?
No.
She's trying to talk to this guy, and she's like, so what's your name?
She hasn't smiled or laughed in like 20 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
According to this story.
That's just not a nurse I'd want to deal with. if I'm being honest. But she's asking him all the standard questions, and he keeps giving her all these vague answers. She's like, what's your name? John. She's like, well, like your full name. She's like, middle name? B. And she's like, last name? Loved? So there he tells us he's John the Beloved. And then there's all these other things. He's like, oh, back when I was hanging out with Victor Hugo, the guy that wrote Les Mis, and she's just like not dealing with what she perceives as jokes.
Right.
He's just really been alive for a long time and has interacted with all these people.
And he made a joke about 2020, right?
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. He said he's 2030 is how old he was. And they said, what's that like? He's like, oh, it's like the new 2020.
Oh, yeah. That's
So I guess we have nothing good to look forward to in 10 years from now. If that's... Oh.
Maybe not. I don't know. Was that a crystal ball looking to the future?
Maybe. He's John the Beloved. Anyway, so it goes on, and she comes and takes care of him, and throughout the whole time, he's like pulling out these ornaments and making her putting them on the tree, and he's teaching her about the ornaments and singing songs all along
Each
the
ornament
way.
has a song that goes with it, and that's the same as the original play, right?
Yes.
So,
what's your favorite song?
Oh, Let Him In, easily.
The quintessential beginning song, right?
Yes.
In normally,
That's what got
is
me
the
originally
beginning?
hooked on the Forgotten Carols. I think it was playing like on Light FM 100 when I was in
Light FM 100.
mid 90s, and I'm like, what is this? I really like this. And
Yeah,
then
Delilah would come in and introduce the song.
Delilah.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Maybe, but that's when I got hooked, was Let Him In. And then when you have the CD, you learn to like all the songs.
You actually, Nate does a really good impression of Michael McLean.
When he sings it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so call me and I'll...
Part of why we're laughing through the whole movie is as I look over to Nate as the song comes on and he gives his rendition as Michael McLean.
Yeah, 10 plus years ago, my old office, they found out that I can do a Michael McLean impersonation. So it was every year at Christmas, I had to sing the Forgotten Carols to them as Michael McLean. So told Brandon that, and so every time he was about to sing, I did my impersonation, and so Brandon would start laughing.
And our wives would start rolling their eyes.
Yep. So.
Well, I think what was cool, so it's still on a stage, and it would be like this at the auditorium when we'd see it, but they kind of had a little more resources to go with it since they were making a movie, and they got a bunch of money to do so. So they have, when he sings the song, he'd have like the person, he'd start singing the song, but then a person who's like he's singing about, like in the first song, it's the innkeeper. So the innkeeper who turned away Mary and Joseph when they needed a place to stay. And he kind of just appears behind them in the movie and just like walks out. And this is another new thing. I think that originally Connie wasn't realizing like there's people there, but it's almost like she's having these visions
With him?
With him. And so she's like, who's that guy? Like, why is there this guy in this house? And she's just kind of going through all of that, which I'm pretty sure that's kind of one of those misremembered things. I don't know if that was like that in the original or if that was an addition to this new format.
That's a good question. I can't, like I said, it's been 10 years since I've seen the play, so I can't remember like how he did it.
I liked it though.
Yeah, the movie or the play or both.
Yeah, both of them. But I liked how the people just kind of appear behind like some kind of backdrop that they'd have, and the lighting, the way they would do it, they'd just be like, oh, there's a guy back there, and it looked like he was in Jerusalem.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside the house.
Yeah. Like you said, they had, well, not necessarily the budget, but you have the time too, right? Because you can stop filming and bring in the backgrounds compared to doing a play, which, by the way, was kind of nice watching in the theater because you don't have to wait for the scene changes. Even though they did kind of have an intermission.
It's not an intermission. Yeah.
A 60-second, was it? Intermission, or maybe 2-minute intermission.
It was like, 60 seconds, I think.
In the movie. So it goes by faster, and you can have a little bit more scenery and effects and stuff like that you wouldn't get the regular, live production.
I think, though, they could have definitely afforded a better fake car.
The Uber he was driving?
Yeah,
or
so
the cab?
that was new. Like, from the last time I saw it, however many years ago, Uber didn't even exist.
Right.
And so her saying, oh, I got to go get my taxi, like, what's a taxi anymore? Like, that's hardly a thing.
Well, he say Uber, and then the next sentence he'd say taxi. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
So he didn't say the Uber again, but taxis are still around. They're just not as prevalent as they were.
When was the last time you took a taxi?
Was in Mexico.
There you go.
Well, no, that was just like 2 years ago.
Oh, well, yeah, but in Mexico.
Mexico, sure.
But here,
Mexico has Uber. We took Ubers too.
Oh, okay. Right.
So, but yeah, Uber was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, so the car that they did was still just 2 chairs and a fake.
Well, yeah, because I
wheel.
feel like they were still trying to give you that feeling that you're watching a play, not a movie.
I know.
Which is a question I have too. Do you think this is a story that you could turn into a live action film? Is that what you'd call it?
I think it'd be kind of cool.
So
I think they could
like
do
a
some
full,
cool things with that.
Full production with it. So just a thought. I wonder if they could.
I was wondering
if they
about
could or
that
ever
eventually.
would.
Yeah.
Or they could even do a cartoon of it too.
A cartoon?
Because then you could really You can go
I've
anywhere.
already got it on
anything.
Living Scriptures, just do a Living Scriptures version of Forgotten Carols.
There you go. So I wonder if they ever will. I guess it depends on the success that this has, which I think I looked up on the interweb that it cost them around $300,000 to produce this.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's true, but in terms of producing a movie, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But it already grossed over 300. But then again, gross is hard because you don't really know what the net profit is. But so I'm assuming, and you got to think about it too, is that it's a limited release, so it's not like nationwide. I mean, I think his hope is that eventually the more of us Utahns and boarding states that go and see it, then the odds of it going bigger are better, because other theaters are going to want to wait and see what kind of return they get here.
Yeah.
So, but
because he originally released it back before even Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
So hoping that it would catch on and then it would be like a Christmas movie for people to go see throughout the nation, basically.
So I would say, from my guesstimations, is that it's been a success if they've done that well with the limited theaters that it's in. So hopefully it goes bigger, and I would love to see a full production movie about it.
Agreed.
I would see it, especially on $5 Tuesday.
Maybe if Michael McLean doesn't want to do it, you could play the part of John.
Absolutely. I'm willing to step in. Which brings up a point. I don't know if you plan on doing reviews, but probably because I've Google searched Forgotten Carols, it's now popping up on my Facebook. And so, like Brandon's mentioned a few times, it's in the theater still, but you can subscribe to the Living Scriptures and watch it there if you have like the premium package or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they had comments on there, and some lady wrote, "It's too bad that McLean can't pass his ego aside and allow someone with real talent to replace him." Like, ouch.
He created this thing.
But my thought too is like when I went to see the movie and he's going to do the play production of it, not like a movie that we're talking about. Like, yeah, I want to see Michael McLean because that's the voice. That's the voice. That's what I remember seeing in the Cottonwood Auditorium. So like, I would almost be disappointed if it wasn't him, right? But that's a question we've had off recording is, will he, one, now the question is, will he ever turn it into a full production movie? Or two, will he continue to do the plays after 2020? Or is he just going to say, the movie, just go watch the movie production? Or three, if he continues to do the plays, is he going to stick around and do it forever? Or will he ever let me step in and be John? The only problem is I do not play the piano nearly as well as Michael does, so that'd be kind of tough.
I
would start training.
I think in the play, though, I don't think he's actually playing the piano.
Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He is?
Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe, yeah. That's
Michael, if you could call us and let us know if that's true. I'm pretty sure he's playing the piano.
Okay.
And your wife could probably confirm that, too, being in the choir.
At least at the end, I'm thinking, but I just was wondering if maybe for those parts at the beginning, like in the first song, if he's actually playing the piano, because then it fades into music, so I could see them putting in just like those piano sounds.
That's true. Or maybe I don't know. That's a good question. I thought you were saying
too bad we couldn't have him on to talk about that.
He plays the piano. I'm
no,
pretty sure he plays the piano.
Definitely plays the piano. I'm at that end, which we'll get to, right? But I think he could pull it off. Like, even if he just learned a little bit, just to play those beginning parts.
Oh, I could do it. I'd start practicing. I would go back and take piano lessons again and learn how to play the piano the way you're supposed to.
# make Nate John.
So right now people are calling me Jesus with my beard and long hair.
I'm sure John the Beloved looked similar to Jesus back then as well too, so you could just be John.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily have to be John. I could be the innkeeper or something like that. I'll do whatever they need. I'm in.
Me too.
I probably don't need to get paid either. I'll get the B- grade or whatever you get. Sign me up.
Well, back to the story. it all culminates in, Connie, she hates Christmas. She doesn't laugh. She eventually laughs. John makes her laugh. Or she makes a joke and then finally laughs.
And then she snorts, right?
Then she snorts, yeah.
And that's part of the play too, right?
Right, the snort, yeah. Because at one point, he's So he's having her put all the ornaments on the tree, and he's like, put it in the heart of the tree. And she's like putting it in the wrong spot. And at one point he like acts like he's having like a heart attack or something. He's like, you're putting the ornament too close to the other ones. And so she flips it on him and does the same thing when he's putting up an ornament. And that's when she finally breaks. And then you see that she's starting to finally like
loosen up,
deal with some of her demons in the past, like her mother passing. There was a couple other additions that we noticed, like in the movie, John talks about how he met her father, who was in the military.
Yeah, and that was a different version too of the song.
Yeah.
Of the Joseph. He's not.
I was
the
not
father
his
one.
father. He was mine.
Yeah, that one. So I liked it. I liked the movie version.
Yeah. What I didn't like, though, is that the way it ends, originally the way I saw it, is that John was not staying at the rich guy's house on permission. Like, he just breaks into people's houses and just teaches people about Christmas.
In the play?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I remember that now, too, yeah.
So this was, like, the biggest question I had is, like, well, how's this going to end? Because at the end, all these cops and everything, they're, like, trying to find this old man who keeps breaking into people's houses. He's still giving them a good experience. Like,
I forgot about this part.
They're not really complaining about it, but this was a big change from how it used to be. But either way, it still ends bad for Connie because in this version, she straight up loses her Alzheimer's patient.
Well,
that's like a rule number one for her
she gets
to not do.
Sucked into a memory, right, or something, and then John sneaks out.
Yeah.
And then, like, the end is them searching for John. And what's the first thing I said to you after the movie? Where the crap is John? Right?
Yeah. They're running all over.
They never answer where John is.
Yeah, her boss comes and he's trying to help. She's losing her job, man. She lost a patient.
Well, yeah, she lost the patient.
He's in a ditch
But
somewhere.
her boss didn't care. His boss was like...
Because he got a date with her.
He was like patting her on the back, like, good job. Like,
here's some more egg salad
you
sandwich.
You stinking lost John. We don't know where John is.
But it's okay because they find a note from John and it says, hey, I really am just here to teach you, you know. And now go on and be a good person. But in the real world, that just doesn't happen.
No.
She lost somebody.
No. John's still missing. So
you've seen John.
So you've seen John.
Please let us know.
And by the way, I'm not John yet, so don't. Maybe that's why people were trying to kidnap me this week. They thought I was John.
Yeah, that's right, because they thought you were missing. Yeah,
no, I'm just.
You get back into the home.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I'm like, where the crap is John?
Yeah. Either way, it's. I like the change. It threw me off because I wasn't expecting it. So. The best part is how it does end. If I think we can all agree on though.
Right. Can I back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I remember in the play every year, he would make a reference to the latest Disney movie. He would somehow sneak in.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
But I don't remember why. But he'd be like on the ground with the carpeted the rug, like doing something with it, and then he'd always like make a reference to, or at least the one I remember, he made a reference to. Finding Nemo, the turtle going, whoa, you know? But I don't know why he was on the ground. I can't remember why. He was like on the carpet.
I can't remember what part this would be in. Probably because when he started, it was like Aladdin was the top Disney movie. So like, oh,
yeah,
I'll make a rug joke.
That makes sense. Yes, yeah. And then it turned into
Crush.
To Crush. And so I'm like, why? Anyways, that's why I'm saying it would be nice to go back or to get that DVD and see if that part's in there and just see the differences and watch them.
So what would he do? What would he have done if this year? If you're going to take the role of John, you have to think about these topical references and what you're going to use.
What's the latest Toy Story 4? Was that the latest?
That was a year ago.
I know, but that's the most recent?
No.
Is it?
No, there's other recent ones. There's nothing in theaters right now, so
I know, but what's the most?
But like, if you look at Disney Plus, like what's hot on Disney Plus, you could do like a Mandalorian reference.
Yeah. He definitely would have done a Baby Yoda, right?
Oh yeah, Baby Yoda for
something
sure.
Baby Yoda would have been in there, but as far as cartoon goes, I think is it Toy Story 4 the last?
There was
Onward. That's probably it because that one was supposed to go in theater. Well, it was in theaters for like 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
And then. Which sucks because we went and saw it with the kids, and then like next week it was on Disney Plus.
And I watched it for free, basically.
I'm like, what? I totally could have saved $20. or whatever it was. But yeah,
Yeah,
But
it's hard to say right now because there's not movies coming out except the ones that are just on streaming.
right. Well, I knew he probably making this movie or this production is that he knew it's going to be watched, or hopefully 10 plus years down the road. So he probably didn't want to make too many references to what's going on now, even though he did make that 2020 reference. But
And the Uber
we're
reference.
going to remember 2020 for a while, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll always call back to this year.
yeah, say it could be worse. It could be 2020. So the best part, even when, so I had a friend text my wife and I saying, "Hey, we're going to go see a movie. I think Croods 2 is in theaters right now.
Oh, that could have been the reference.
Still haven't seen Croods 1. My kids have. But anyways, do you guys want to go watch Croods with us tonight? Because it's $5 Tuesday, right?" And I said, "Oh, we're already going to watch The Forgotten Carols." And then she messaged back, "We can be..." Like, that's all she wrote. "We can be together
Forever,
someday." So I'm like, which is interesting because she's not from Utah. So I was like, how does she know this?
Everybody knows.
So she's even seen the Forgotten Carols play. But that's obviously what she remembers most about the Forgotten Carols. And to be honest with you, I kind of forgot, too, that he does that at the end.
Yeah. So in normal times...
It's not on the CD.
It's not on the CD, but if you're seeing the play, after curtain call and everything, then Michael comes out with his piano, right? And we get a little talk time.
Which is good.
Little one-on-one time with Michael.
Because then we know John's not lost. John's still
Yes,
there.
he's
Even
there.
though he's Michael now, but John's still there.
Right. So he comes out.
But he
and
still
he's
doesn't
kinda
explain what
just-
happened to John.
No, we still don't know what happened to John. But he comes out and he's playing the piano, just kind of, "Hey guys, let's talk for a minute."
Basically, I hope you had a good time.
I hope you had a good time,
And that
yeah.
you felt something special.
Right.
So,
And especially this year, even more special.
right.
What I missed was normally he makes a pitch, go buy all my merch, go buy all my CDs, buy everything. So we didn't get quite that. Then everyone together sings the "We can be together forever someday."
But to have the whole effect, we all held hands, right?
We sure did. Yeah, you better believe it. So we held hands and we sang in the theater. Don't know if anybody else was doing it, but we definitely participated. And then we sing Silent Night. He kind of will play, but then he stops playing and he kind of just stood up and
Leads
Leads.
the
leads the acapella.
audience.
Yep. And that's how it ends. But I did still enjoy that whole end portion. My wife thought it was pretty corny, but
Of course, it's corny, but
okay. It's corny. But it was still
still good.
fun.
Still
and
good.
Still good, yeah.
I still feel, even though, like I said, it was in theaters, but I still feel like it had the full effect of being there because of the fact that you're watching a play. It's not a movie. It's like you're there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very well done. Especially, I think they put it together fairly quick because of the whole COVID thing. They didn't know they were doing it.
They probably
And
didn't even know if it was going to be able to go to theaters either.
originally.
They maybe just thought it's going to have to go stream, but luckily here in Utah we still have a limited theater experience.
That's true. I mean, who knew if theaters were even going to be open when they were filming it, right?
Yeah.
There's still a few theaters that are not open, unfortunately.
But it has great music. So if you're not going to even watch the play or the movie, then you can at least listen to the good jams. Let 'Em In is always a good one, and
And Homeless was pretty popular in high school.
Homeless, that's a good one.
So here's my question. I wish we could have Michael on to ask him these questions, but did he sit down thinking did he write the story first and then the songs, or did he write songs and go, "Oh, this would make a good story"? I mean, how did he decide? How did this all come to be, I guess, is my question.
It's a very good question.
So, because, I mean, it's very well done. I don't know. It's just good.
Say what
I
you
like it.
will about Michael McLean, but this is very well produced. And I know his son has stepped in now. Maybe his son will take over eventually, but he helped to reimagine and change some of the things that ended up changing last year.
That makes sense.
So the legacy still lives on. one way or another. But I did actually see a rendition of this that was not Michael McLean once. When I went to Snow College down in good old Ephraim, Utah, and they have a pretty big theater music department there. It's one of the only like 4-year degrees they have at the school, and they put together their own version of it, and it was not the same without Michael McLean, but it was still good.
Yeah, that goes back to the question. Maybe high school's now, if Michael says, okay, I'm hanging it up, I'm done. John's going to walk up into the sunset. It's time for somebody else to take over. If it will be like high schools be able to do the play themselves, or what?
You got a book here. There's a book of the Forgotten Carols.
Yeah, I've had this since high school. Like I mentioned, I got the book and the CD and stuff for Christmas one year, but it has the story, probably in the original story. That's what I'm wondering, did you write the story first or the music or both at the same time? Was it always just kind of how it came to be? But in the back of the book has the sheet music for all the songs. So
That's why you bought it.
that's why I bought it. So I wanted to learn how to play Let Him In. So if you want me to come to your Christmas party and play one song and one song only, Let Him In is it. So
You know, I remember the first time I saw the Forgotten Carols, and my mom was telling me about it, and I said, we're going to go watch about the Forgotten Carols. Like, I want to hear the carols we all know. Like, why would I want to go see a play about the ones that are forgotten? The reason they're forgotten is because they're these lesser known characters. Like we already mentioned at the beginning, the innkeeper. There's someone that was an owner of an orphanage and got to hold Jesus for a moment. There's Handel. I guess he's one of the characters as well, the one who wrote the Messiah.
Mm-hmm. What's what I like about the Forgotten Carols is that even though it is written by a Latter-day Saint composer,
Yeah.
it's not. If you went and saw it outside of Utah, you wouldn't say that's a Latter-day Saint film. You know what I mean? It's a Christian film for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So anybody who's
Any Christian denominated
yeah
religion will
and enjoys Christmas would enjoy the film and not feel like he's trying to push the agenda of Mormonism on you.
Yeah.
So the question is, when's it going to come out on DVD? Is that still a thing?
I think it's already out on DVD.
I don't think so. I think it's just streaming. Maybe?
Look at that. $20.
That's not bad. Where's that at?
The internet.
Have you ever seen this thing before?
All right, I'm going to add it to my cart.
See if it'll let you.
It probably just, like, ships it to you, honestly. I'm sure they sell it at Desert Book at this point.
Well, I'd hope so. Maybe I'll go check it out. I'd pay $20 for it.
That's even cheaper than going and seeing it in person.
Yeah, and you can watch it over and over.
So you just buy it straight from the store, the Forgotten Carols store.
It says only 42 left.
Only 42 left?
Something said 42.
Well, you can also buy the 2019 cast recording, a wood ornament set, I guess. Oh, it's like the ornaments from the play. That's 42 items left.
Oh, that was 42 left? I was going to say, you only have 42 DVDs left.
You can buy a poster for the movie. So go to the Forgotten Carols store and buy some stuff.
All right. Well, I'm buying the DVD now.
Yeah.
Do they have it on Blu-ray? Do they have it in 4K?
I haven't bought a DVD in a long time. Maybe this will be my opportunity.
I did rent a Redbox the other day.
Oh, I do still rent Redboxes.
Oh, really? It's been a long time. It's been so long that I had to put in my new credit card information. It's been that long.
The reason I don't rent Redboxes right now is because there's no movies coming out.
No, but we saw a Christmas movie that's out in Redbox right now that's weird.
What is it?
Mel Gibson is the main character.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So I probably shouldn't say that we watched a movie that you probably shouldn't watch, but when we're talking about Forgotten Carols.
Yeah, this was going to be our serious, like, come to Jesus moment episode, and just took it a completely different
Mel
direction.
Gibson does make Jesus movies, right?
Sometimes.
He made what was that movie?
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. And he's talking about making a second one.
Heard about that.
So apparently he's a very different Santa Claus. Nice,
Oh, so he plays Santa Claus in this movie?
Mm-hmm. And rich kid gets a lump of coal in a stocking, so he has a family hitman
To kill Santa Claus.
to kill Santa Claus.
Oh my gosh, I have to see this movie.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yep.
Exactly. It's in Redbox, so it's supposed. I think it was supposed to go to theaters, and I think it was in theaters. So I was shocked when it was already on Redbox. We're like, all right,
Just another point, when we were at the theater, there's a bunch that are Netflix movies that are also at the theaters you can go see.
Right. Oh, yeah. The theaters have the Netflix movies. And then, I think Netflix sometimes outside of COVID put stuff in theaters so that they can be nominated for awards.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be in the theaters, too.
So how does that work? Do they just like go up in the booth and stream it from Netflix?
Yeah. Did they have to pay for their subscription? Do they have to have the account with 4+ screens at once?
That's weird.
But they also, like, movie theaters have been just playing, like, for example, Die Hard was in one of the top grossing movies, even though it came out, 30 years ago?
So I've never seen Die Hard, the original one.
What?
But I believe that it's a Christmas movie. Even though I've never seen it, I can't really say that. But I got confused because I was Googling, so I typed in John McClane, because I was like, Michael McLean, but he plays John in the movie, so... John McLean, there's that tie-in right there.
Yeah.
Christmas.
It's just interesting because it's good. The first Die Hard's good. It's just funny because he's just like an average Joe cop, and then he turns into some big superstar. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Die Hard, and yeah, I need to watch it again.
Me too.
But it is a Christmas movie for sure because it takes place in Christmas.
Yep.
So that's why Karate Kid's a Christmas movie too, because the tournament happens during Christmas. So I'm just saying.
And we've reached the end with the Karate Kid reference now.
On my birthday. Isn't it just like what's the word I'm looking for? Just like perfect that Cobra Kai season 3 comes out on my birthday.
All right. Thanks for listening to this.
So excited! Can't wait. So please do not bug me on January 8th because I will be in my room. The only time that I can actually binge watch a series is Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
Man.
Wondering what to get me for Christmas outside the Forgotten Carols? Cobra Kai.
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week. We can be
together forever someday. All right, everybody join hands.
Yeah, you should totally.
We
you should totally play.
can be together
You should,
forever someday.
Can you put that clip in at the end?
Oh, I'm just going to play this part. Just let's sing.
Okay.